Alright, so PlayStation just had a state of play. And yeah, no, GTA 6. I think I might need to delete my prediction video because, wow, that was probably my worst call in the past 2 years. Honestly, I zoned out for most of this showcase. Some people were a little more optimistic though. One person gave it a 7 out of 10 and said they never expected much to begin with. Another was hyped for the new Housemarque game since they love Returnal, but overall found it kinda weak. Then there was someone saying the best way to end the show was with Saros since the protagonist kinda reminds them of Cellini's husband. Interesting take. And another person dropped a whole theory about industry gossip and how hardware and software companies communicate. Sure, I'll keep that in mind. And yeah, I see you guys roasting me about GTA 6. One person straight up said, Ashley, you were wrong. Unsub. And I told them, before you unsub, you gotta deposit $100 first. Fair deal, right? Anyway, this state of play felt obligatory, like they had to put something out. Someone even joked that it wasn't gonna be spectacular because they just had a funeral. I mean, not wrong. So yeah, no GTA 6, no Death Stranding 2, just a bunch of random reveals. But what do you guys think? Was this showcase a complete letdown? Or was there at least something worth getting excited about? Not gonna go over everything play by play, just wanna talk about what stood out to me. So first up, Tides of Annihilation. I don't really know anything about the studio or what this is, but from what they showed, it looks wild. The character designs the scale of everything the enemy designs. It's just a lot. And the trailer kind of felt like two different games. The first half had a very action-adventure feel with platforming and exploration, but then it just goes full chaos with insane combat. Also, there's this mix of a fantasy world and real-world locations like London, which makes me wonder, what exactly is this game? Next, we got Days Gone Remastered. This was actually a nice surprise. If you played it on PC at max settings, then sure, it's probably not a huge deal. But for PlayStation-only players, this is coming April 25th with PS5 and PS5 Pro support, variable refresh rate, all that good stuff. They're also adding new content, like an updated photo mode, a permadeath mode, and a horde mode, which honestly makes total sense for this game. But man, I can't help but think, why not just make a sequel? Then we got something totally out of left field, Dreams of Another from Pixel Junk. They've always done creative stuff, but this, it's different. It's a third-person shooter where instead of shooting to destroy, you're shooting to create. And apparently, they're using cloud rendering to help with all the voxel-based destruction. The trailer itself was kind of vague, but I like when someone takes a familiar genre and tries to flip it on its head, so I'm curious to see how this one plays. Midnight Walk. This was already revealed before, but it's basically a game made entirely out of clay animation, which you don't see much anymore. It reminds me of the Neverhood from back in the PlayStation 1 days. Visually, it's incredible. The character and enemy designs are just weird in a good way, and it really stands out. But here's the curveball. It's actually a first-person shooter, which I didn't expect at all. Kinda gives me Scorn vibes, where it's all about the atmosphere, but then you realize, oh yeah, it's still a game where you shoot monsters. Hopefully there's more to it than just that though. Then there's Borderlands 4. They showed some gameplay and it looks solid. I'm not a diehard Borderlands fan or anything, but I did play 2 a lot back in the day. But the gameplay they showed looked fun. And interestingly enough, it's getting its own dedicated state of play soon, so clearly Sony is really backing this one. Oh, and it's out September 23rd, Metal Gear Solid Delta. This was technically leaked last week, but we got another look here. It's a solid trailer. The dialogue feels a little weird and stilted, but it does a good job of simplifying the overall story. And, yeah, hearing Snake Eater play during a state of play in 2025, that's just nice. I don't know if Konami is gonna screw this up, but I'm hoping for the best. Then Konami also showed Darwin's Paradox, a 2D adventure platformer with beautiful art. It kinda looks like Inside or Little Nightmares, but not creepy, and you're an octopus. So yeah, sure, why not? Another weird one, Warriors Abyss. This is a Dynasty Warriors spin-off, but with roguelike elements which I thought could work within the normal Dynasty Warriors style, but no, it's actually a Hades-style top-down game. Didn't see that coming, but hey, it's out now. Lost Soul Aside, been following this one for years, since it was originally just one guy making it. Now it's turned into a PlayStation-backed project, and it looks completely over the top. Very Final Fantasy meets Devil May Cry, but with its own thing going on, crazy combat, lots of aerial movement, it's probably going to be ridiculously hard. Then we got a surprise, Onimusha Way of the Sword, coming in 2026. I did not expect Onimusha to come back at all, so this is cool. It's not Souls-like like some thought. It seems more focused on smart positioning and using the environment in combat, which could be really interesting. The little gameplay snippets looked great, but we'll have to see how it all comes together. Also, Lies of P Overture, DLC coming in summer 2025. Snowy setting, new weapons, possibly a bow, and yeah, it just looks incredible. If you liked Lies of P, this is probably gonna be great. Then they ended with Saros, a new first-party IP from Housemarque, the studio behind Returnal. At first, anyway, it seems like they're building off Returnal's gameplay and pushing it in a new direction, so if you're a fan of that, this is one to watch. And finally, something I really didn't expect, Directive 8020 from the Dark Pictures anthology team. It's still labeled as part of that series, but this one looks really different. Full-on sci-fi horror, very Event Horizon, very Dead Space. And I don't know, the trailer actually had me hooked. Their games always look great, but can sometimes feel a little stiff, so I'm hoping this one delivers. So yeah, that's what stood out to me. It wasn't the biggest or craziest state of play. No Bloodborne, remaster, no Wolverine, nothing like that. But it had some solid reveals. What about you though? Anything here actually get you excited, or was this just kind of a mess showcase? So Ubisoft just dropped their latest financial update, and yeah, they're feeling pretty good about Assassin's Creed Shadows. They didn't give exact pre-order numbers, but they're calling it solid and saying it's tracking about the same as Odyssey. If you don't remember, Odyssey was the second best-selling game in the series. Valhalla still holds the top spot. Now, Shadows is kinda a big deal for Ubisoft right now, especially with all the cost-cutting and even talk of a potential sale. And let's not forget Star Wars Outlaws underperformed last year, so they really need this one to hit. Yves Guillemot is keeping things optimistic though. He says early previews have been positive and calls it the franchise's most ambitious entry yet. But while he's hyping up the game, he's also talking about Ubisoft doubling down on cost cutting. They've already laid off a bunch of people and shut down studios, including the UK team in Leamington. And now he says they're gonna go even further next fiscal year. So yeah, Shadows is shaping up to be a big shakeup for the series. Our Catherine even said the dual protagonist system could be one of the biggest changes to Assassin's Creed in years. But with Ubisoft in the middle of all these financial cuts, what happens if it doesn't perform the way they expect?
My whole life, I have been caught on a wind, blown across the world.
I see potential in this man.
The Brack soldier is not one of us. Send him back to wherever he belongs.
He may become a legend, or he may die.
Kill me!
No. Tools belong in the old world. This is the way forward.
You slaughtered innocents!
The blade, it is sharp. You are part of something bigger than this war. Our fates are connected.
We have all seen darkness. Some have been that darkness. Because you believe in my cause, we have come together, despite it all. To bring change, to bring light.